My name is Jenna Descoteau, and I'm 33 years old. My sister said, skip your job interview and drive my son to his baseball game tomorrow. When I refused, she laughed without looking up from her phone. Where's your husband and kids? She asked, loud enough for the whole living room. Oh, right, you don't have any. My parents laughed. Not a big belly laugh, just that quiet, mean little chuckle families do when they agree with the insult but don't want to own it. Heat crawled up my neck. My hands still smelled like garlic and roasted chicken. I stared at my sister. Still no job, Bridget? I asked. Guess that's why I've been paying your rent, until today. Silence. The TV hummed. Tyler's YouTube video babbled from the other room. No one laughed then. I'm the oldest kid. The automatic babysitter. The one who knows where the spare keys are, how to reset the router, and what to do when the sink decides to vomit dirty water at midnight. I'm a chef. Not the glossy TV kind, the real kind. The kind with burns on both forearms like constellations, and a phone full of double-booked reservations and unpaid overtime. People think chefs spend nights partying at 2 a.m. Most nights, I'm wrist-deep in prep tubs, doing quiet math in my head. Food costs, rent, gas. And lately, how many days until someone texts quick favor again? I keep my knives sharp and my emotions dull. It's simpler that way. In my family, I'm the dependable one. Translation: the person who never says no. I move furniture, fix tires, and respond to every, "Hey Jen, you free for a sec?" text that is never just a second. I remember birthdays, bring casseroles, and somehow know exactly how many spoons are left in my parents' drawer. Fewer every time Bridget visits. Bridget is my younger sister by 2 years and about 1,000 miles of responsibility. She's been golden since day one. The kind of person who can miss a payment, flash a smile, and charm the landlord into forgetting the late fee. She's got a 10-year-old son, Tyler, who lives for baseball, YouTube, and whatever new snack they advertise between innings. My parents adore them out loud. They adore me through chores and expectations. We grew up in a 2-bedroom house with a tiny yard and a grill my dad called the Beast. Mom ran a daycare from home. Dad drove delivery trucks. We weren't poor, but we were always one broken alternator away from panic. The lights stayed on. The fridge stayed full, if you liked leftovers and coupon brand everything. Birthdays meant one gift and a store-bought cake. If the gift was big, the cake was small. That was budgeting before anybody called it budgeting. I learned early that food keeps people calm. If Dad came home snapping after a long shift, a hot plate could soften his tone. If Mom was drowning in toddlers and Cheerio dust, a pot of soup made her sigh instead of snap. I learned to stretch chicken thighs with beans and rice. I learned where the bulk spices were, how to cut off the bruised parts and call it rustic. Most importantly, I learned my job, fill the gaps, the broken latch, the missing permission slip, the silence after Mom said, "Bridget is just special," like I was the control group. High school made it official. I worked nights in a diner, hands smelling like onions and fryer oil. Bridget did theater, always front row in every photo, sparkly dress, stage lighting, catching her smile just right. I'd come home at 1 a.m. to a note on the table. "Jenna, can you take Bridget to school at 7? You understand. Love, Mom." I always did. I always understood. I got into culinary school on a scholarship. Tuition was covered, but knives, shoes, and gas were my problem. I washed dishes at night to afford a knife roll that wouldn't fall apart, paid for sturdy shoes so my back wouldn't give out before I hit 30. Bridget tried community college, hated it, and quit for her mental health. No one pushed her to go back. She drifted through part-time jobs and creative projects that never quite became anything. Then Tyler was born, and everything shifted with 2 words from my father. Family first. What he meant was, "Jenna, do more." I was 25, doing unpaid stages in a decent kitchen, working full-time in a mediocre one just to survive. Bridget moved back in with our parents, "just until I'm stable," Mom said. "You understand, honey," she added, in that tone that sounded like both love and command. I understood that formula was expensive. Diapers, more so. So I stepped up. I started dropping off groceries on Sundays. Adding one more lasagna didn't seem like much. Then I covered their internet when it got cut off. Paid Dad's copay when he forgot his wallet. Bought Bridget a used stroller, then a crib, then a car seat because hers was expired. She said it casually, like, "We're out of milk," like planning before things soured wasn't her job. When I got my first real promotion, line cook to junior sous, I didn't tell anyone. I bought new clogs, paid off a credit card, replaced my dying phone. No dinner, no toast, no celebration. Celebration invites commentary. Must be nice, Mom would say, half joking, half keeping score. The rent thing started like a house fire starts, one spark. Bridget's boyfriend left. Her name was on the lease. She came up short just this month. I sent $850. The next month it was $400, then $100 to tide me over till Friday, I swear. The amounts blurred into each other. She promised she'd pay me back when her photography career took off. I asked what she meant by when it takes off. She left me on red. Then Mom called. Bridget and Tyler are moving in for a bit, she said. How long is a bit? I asked. Don't be cold, Jenna. You understand. The house filled up with kid noise again whenever I visited. Tyler's laugh made it hard to stay angry. He started calling me Chef Aunt Jenna, asked if garlic counted as a vegetable. We made dinosaur pancakes. I showed him how to crack eggs with 2 hands and not get shells in the bowl. I told myself I was doing it for him, not for the adults who treated my paycheck like a group project. A new pattern formed, a quick favor text here, another there. Can you take Tyler to practice? I'm editing photos. Can you stop by Target? He needs new cleats. Then my parents joined the subscription. We're out of paper towels. Your dad's phone bill looks weird again. The microwave quit. Nothing big, just constant. I tried to draw small boundaries. I can't do weekday pickups. I'm on the line. Please keep receipts. Ask first. Don't assume. The lines blurred. The second Tyler's face fell at the idea of missing practice. The second Mom sighed and said, You know we can't do this without you. I started checking my bank app more than my messages. I logged every dollar in my notes. $42.18 for cleats, $75 for a clinic, $285 to cover their power bill because the AC accidentally ran nonstop. $100 here, $300 there. I kept telling myself I'd cut back next month. Next month always showed up with new holes. Meanwhile, my career was finally moving forward. I helped open a small bistro as lead. The head chef there, Luis, taught me more about salt than any class, and more about boundaries than any therapist I hadn't yet made time to see. You show up early for everyone, he told me once, watching me plate a dish after staying late to help another cook. Try showing up early for yourself for once. He was the one who pushed me to apply for the hotel job. You've got the palate and the brain for it, Jenna, he said. Stop waiting for permission. At home, my boyfriend Ethan said almost the same thing. We were eating takeout on my couch, my phone buzzing with another quick favor from Bridget. You know this isn't normal, right? He said gently. You work 12 hours and then you're their emergency fund and Uber combined. They're my family, I said. So are you, he replied. When do you act like it? His ex, Laura, used to weaponize that same word, family. Guilt him if he worked late, accuse him of choosing money over love. I knew that history. I watched his jaw tighten when my mom used the same phrases. Patterns repeat, unless someone stops them. The week before my interview, I tried to set expectations at Sunday dinner. It's a big opportunity, I said, passing salad. Better pay. Good team. I won't be around Friday morning. I need to focus. Bridget twirled her spaghetti. You'll be fine, she said. You always are. Dad clinked his fork against his plate. Don't forget where you came from, he added. It sounded proud. In our house, it meant stay in your lane. Mom didn't ask about the interview. She asked, Will the hotel have good leftovers? Maybe you can bring some by. Tyler looked up from his phone. Will you come to my next game and yell when I'm up to bat? He asked. Yes, I said, just not this Friday morning. Then Thursday night came. I drove into my parents' driveway after a shift that smelled like garlic, butter, and a stubborn fire alarm. I had a roasted chicken in one hand and a tub of stock in the other. Mom's request for Dad's soup. My alarm for 6:30 a.m. was already set. My only white shirt was ironed and hanging in my car. Hey, I said, setting the food on the counter. Don't forget to put this away. Perfect timing, Bridget said from the couch, thumbs moving over her screen. So you'll cancel your interview and take Tyler to his baseball game tomorrow. I laughed, waiting for the punchline that never came. No, I said, it's a big day. She finally looked up, lips curling. Oh, so it's important. Where's your husband and kids, Jenna? Oh, right, you don't have any. Must be nice being so available. Mom sighed that rehearsed sigh. Dad stacked the cards too loud. The room tilted toward me, everyone waiting for my usual move. Swallow, smile, say yes. I didn't. I'm not canceling, I said. Bridget rolled her eyes. Fine, I'll tell Tyler his aunt thinks work matters more than family. My parents chuckled, that quiet, cutting laugh. Something in me snapped, or maybe it finally stopped bending. That's funny, I said, coming from someone whose rent I've been paying. The laugh died. I covered the stock, wiping the rim with a dish towel just to keep my hands busy. Then I walked out, garlic still on my fingers, and that small, mean laugh lodged in my throat like a bone. In the car, my phone lit up with Ethan's text. You got this tomorrow. Choose you for once. For the first time in years, I decided I might actually try. My alarm went off at 6:30 a.m., but I was already awake, had been since 4. Sleep wouldn't stick. My mind wouldn't sit still. Every scenario played through my head. Mom crying, Dad yelling, Bridget turning Tyler against me. But beneath all that noise, something quieter pulsed. What if this job could change everything? I showered, straightened my thrifted suit jacket, and folded my apron neatly into my bag like a promise to myself. This is the last time I let anyone make me feel small for wanting more. Ethan met me in the kitchen, already dressed for work. He held out a mug of coffee the way some people hold out lifelines. You're gonna kill it today, he said. I wanted to tell him how terrified I was, how my chest had felt tight since last night, how the sound of my parents' laughter kept echoing like a replay of every time I let myself be the family punchline. But the words got stuck behind my ribs. Instead, I nodded. Thanks. And Jenna? He added softer. Don't let their guilt be louder than your goals. I kissed him, set the mug down, and walked out the door. The interview. The hotel lobby smelled like cedar and citrus. Clean, calm, expensive. Not like the bistro where I spent nights dodging a stubborn fire alarm. The executive chef shook my hand. Firm grip, warm eyes. We talked menu philosophy, cost control, team dynamics. It felt adult. Like I wasn't just the family's emergency fund and chauffeur. Like I was someone who knew things, who could actually lead. For once, I didn't ramble. For once, I didn't apologize for wanting something. When it ended, he smiled. We'll be in touch soon, Jenna, but between us, I'm impressed. I walked out lighter, hopeful even. Then my phone lit up. 14 text messages from Bridget, 6 from Mom, 3 missed calls from Dad. Did you seriously ignore us? Tyler cried because of you. We had to call Aunt Leia. You're selfish. You should have just helped. It was one morning. Family first. I stared at the screen, thumb trembling. Then I did something I'd never done before. I put my phone face down, started my car, and drove to my parents' house anyway. Because in my twisted logic, showing up, just showing up, always felt like the way to fix things. The cake tribunal. The frosting on Tyler's cake was already sweating under the plastic wrap when I walked into the kitchen. It felt symbolic, something sweet forced to sit too long in a hot room. Bridget stood with her arms crossed, face tight and ready for battle. Mom's lips were a thin line. Dad held a knife like a gavel at trial. No hello, no warmth, just accusations waiting. Apologize to your nephew, Mom said immediately. For what? I asked. For putting work over family, Bridget snapped. For leaving us stranded, Mom added. Dad slammed the knife onto the cutting board. We don't blow up over small stuff. It's not small, I said. 3 pairs of eyes widened, like I'd broken an unspoken family rule. Jenna doesn't talk back. You asked me to cancel a job interview because you treat my time like it belongs to you, I said. Bridget laughed. Oh, right. The big hotel thing. So important. Where's your husband and kids, Jenna? She smirked. Oh, that's right. You don't have any. This is your family. There it was again. The cheap shot she knew would land. Something inside me, something I'd been holding together with duct tape for years, finally snapped. I put both hands on the counter. My fingertips tingled. No, I said quietly. Mom blinked. What? No, I repeated, louder. I'm not apologizing. I'm not canceling things for you. And I'm done pretending this is normal. Bridget scoffed. So this is payback? This isn't revenge, I said. This is clarity. Even Tyler paused his YouTube video. And that's when I pulled out my phone, not to check messages, but to open the Notes app. The one where I'd logged every dollar, every date, every favor. It wasn't meant for theatrics. It was proof, for me. I've been covering your rent for 6 months, I said, looking at Bridget. Her jaw twitched. I've paid Mom and Dad's utilities 3 times this year. I bought the groceries in your fridge right now. Every time I set a boundary, you made it personal. Every time I asked for planning, you called me selfish. Dad frowned. You think money makes you better? I think money's been the leash you tug, I said, and I'm the one who's been wearing it. Bridget pointed at me like a prosecutor. Say that in front of Tyler. Say you don't care about family. I looked at him, really looked. His cheeks were pink from embarrassment, not anger. I do care, I told him softly. I care enough to stop lying about what's fair. Mom's tone softened, a weapon disguised in sweetness. Honey, you've always been particular. Don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel, I said. I'm being clear. Bridget's arms tightened around her chest. Then say it. What do you want? What I wanted? God, I'd never even allowed myself to say it out loud. I want you to stop treating my time and money like community property, I said. I want you to plan Tyler's rides before the night of. I want you to cover your own rent, or move somewhere you can afford. I turned to my parents. And I want you to ask for help instead of assuming I exist to solve every crisis. Dad huffed. So you're kicking your family out? I'm putting a door on a house that's never had one, I said. You can knock. I'll decide if I open it. Silence cracked like ice. Then Tyler's small voice broke it. Will you still come to my game on Saturday? Yes, I said without hesitation. I keep my promises, just not secrets about the cost. Mom looked stunned. Dad looked offended. Bridget looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. I walked to the door. No one followed. When I got into my car, my phone buzzed nonstop. Texts, missed calls, guilt grenades exploding one by one. I turned on Do Not Disturb. Then a single message from Ethan appeared at the top of the screen. Proud of you, come home. I exhaled for the first time all day. Because for once, I chose me. The next morning, the storm hit full force. 22 texts from Mom, 10 missed calls from Bridget, 5 from Dad, 3 from cousins I hadn't spoken to in months. And, my personal favorite, one long Facebook message from Aunt Leah titled The Importance of Family Loyalty. I didn't read a single one. I silenced everything except Ethan and work. Then I took a deep breath and started doing something I should have done years ago. I began cleaning my life of chaos that didn't belong to me. The first cuts. Step 1. I opened a separate checking account and moved every dollar of my savings. Step 2. I canceled every auto pay I'd accidentally become responsible for. Utilities, phone bills, streaming services, even a random Blinkbox Kids subscription Bridget had sworn Tyler needed for educational videos. Step 3. I muted all group chats that held me hostage to guilt. Step 4. I asked my chef Luis for Sundays off. He didn't even blink. Good. About time you took a day for yourself. Then he added, almost fatherly, let people fix their own messes, Jenna. You're not a mop. The fallout. My phone buzzed angrily on the counter all day long. Dad, you're ungrateful after everything we've done for you. Mom, I'm heartbroken. How could you embarrass your sister like that? Tyler cried again. Bridget, hope your chef friends show up for you when no one else does. I didn't respond, not out of spite, but out of survival. Silence was my first boundary. And like all new boundaries, it was met with panic. But something interesting happened by week 2. The messages slowed, not because they understood, but because they finally realized I wasn't coming running. Supporting Tyler without supporting chaos. I love that kid, always will. So I found a middle path. I applied for a one-time school grant through my job's community program, listing Tyler as the beneficiary. It would cover things like after-school programs, sports fees, and supplies. No cash handed to Bridget, no strings attached to me. I could help Tyler without funding adult irresponsibility. Ethan called it strategic compassion. I called it breathing with both lungs for the first time. Cooking alone, on purpose, with no last-minute Target runs, no emergency bill payments, no surprise errands. My evenings felt foreign, quiet, unclaimed mine. I cooked for myself like I was my own customer. Charred cabbage with anchovy butter, roasted tomatoes on sourdough, pan-seared salmon with crispy capers. For the first time, I plated food that wasn't meant to soothe someone else. It was meant for me. I ate every meal hot, not lukewarm from reheating after a quick errand. And in the quiet, I started hearing things I hadn't heard in years. My own thoughts, my own wants, my own exhaustion. Bridget's first humble message. 3 weeks after the cake tribunal, Bridget texted, "Can we talk? Coffee? I'm actually asking, not demanding." My stomach tightened. Ethan saw my face and said gently, "Go if you want. But remember, you're not auditioning for forgiveness." So I went. She was already there when I arrived, looking smaller somehow. Not physically, just deflated, real. Tyler's baseball cap sat on the table beside her. She was twisting it in her hands. "I made rent," she said before I even sat down. "On my own." Her voice cracked. It hit me harder than her insults ever had. "That's good," I said honestly. "I'm proud of you." She nodded, looked down. "I found a smaller place. Tyler got the bedroom. I'm on the couch. It's not great, but it's ours." There was a long pause. Then she exhaled, shaky. "Jenna, I'm sorry about the husband and kids thing. That was low. I was stressed and I took it out on you." Apologies weren't common in my family. Hearing one felt like stepping into sunlight after months of rain. I appreciate that, I said, but the boundary still stands. I know, she sniffed. Can you still come to some Saturday games? He misses you. I smiled. Yeah, I'll be there, when I can. Not as your chauffeur, just as his aunt. She nodded, a real nod, not sarcastic. For the first time in years, we talked like sisters, not like debtor and enforcer. We didn't fix everything, but a dent is enough to let some light through. Parents, the slowest adjustment. Mom and Dad didn't apologize, but the tone changed. Check-in calls instead of request lists, updates instead of obligations. Small, hesitant signs of respect. Dad even admitted once, gruffly, "You've been working hard," as if the words physically hurt on the way out. Mom sent me a picture of a soup she made, following one of my old recipes. No hidden, "Can you bring more stock?" Just pride. It was weird, nice, confusing. Healing usually is. Love with boundaries. Ethan never once said, "I told you so." He just handed me comfort. Quiet, steady, dependable comfort. We spent Sundays at the farmer's market, arguing playfully about produce. "You don't need 10 lemons," he'd say. And I'd laugh. "Ah, but do I want 10 lemons?" Sometimes his ex Laura would pop up online, throwing shade. But he blocked her without hesitation. Healthy boundaries modeled right in front of me. We weren't perfect, but we were trying, on equal footing. For once, I wasn't dating someone who needed saving. The card by the door. One night, after a long shift, I taped a small handwritten card to the inside of my door. Respect is the price of admission. I read it every time I left, every time I came home, every time my phone buzzed with a message that started with, "Hey Jenna, quick favor." And every time I remembered the cake, the knife, the silence, the years I let myself be used under the disguise of family. The new normal. I still bring soup when Dad is genuinely sick. I still slice extra cake at birthdays. I cheer at Tyler's games like I'm in the major leagues. But I don't cancel my life for someone else's emergencies anymore. Not without respect, not without asking, not without consent. And every time I say no without guilt, I feel like I'm rewiring something deep in my bones. I love them. I still love them. But now, I love myself enough to keep my door closed when it needs to be.